Welcome back to Natasha's Reads Right Now, and right now, if you can believe it, we are halfway through the year 2020, and that means it's time for a mid-year book freakout tag. First question is, best book you've read so far in 2020? This was really hard for me, but fortunately, just because I've read so many good books this year, and the one that won out was The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. It's a fantastic African-inspired epic fantasy book, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. I can't say enough good things about this book. Okay, next question is best sequel you've read so far in 2020. And although I haven't finished this book yet, I have a really good feeling about this one. And that is going to be The Kingdom of Copper, which is the sequel to The City of Brass book. And the first book left off, like at the very, very end, opened up some new avenues to the storyline. And book 2 is definitely exploring it in all its fullness. And I'm not even very far in, but already I'm just sick with anticipation. I can't wait to finish this book. Question 3. New releases you haven't read yet but want to. And I had to do a list for this one because I couldn't choose just one. Okay, The Seventh Son, A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, The Obsidian Tower, and The Unspoken Name. Now these are just a few of the new releases that I missed out on, but I'm excited because most of them have books coming out in 2021. So now I've got a plan for my TBR list for 2021, which feels pretty good. I feel on top of things now. And question 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. And can I just say November is going to be a bombing month for new releases for fantasy. Super excited for November. Some of them include The Fires of Vengeance, Rhythm of War, The Trouble with Peace, The Burning God, and A Sky Beyond the Storm. Of course, if I had to pick just one, it would probably be The Fires of Vengeance, which of course is the sequel to The Rage of Dragons, which is my favorite book so far this year. But with Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson, the 4th book in the Stormlight Archive series, in a very, very close second. And then all of them, yeah, just within a millimeter of each other, honestly. Okay, number 5, biggest disappointment. And so far that has got to be Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. And, oh, I wanted to love this series so much, and it's a trilogy, and I did complete all 3 books. And at the end of book 1, I was super pumped. You know, I wasn't as invested in the characters, but the revelation of what the story was going to focus on really intrigued me. And I jumped up and said, I can't wait to read book number 2. And unfortunately, the end of book 1 was my most excited I got about this series, and book 2 really slowed down, and book 3 didn't care about the ending at all. And I'm really bummed because I loved the premise of the story. Okay, now on a happier note, question 6, biggest surprise, and that has got to be The Last Wish, which is a book in the Witcher series. And the reason this was a big surprise for me is because, well, I heard about it first through the Netflix series, and that actually got me into it. And then I heard that it was a video game, and I wasn't really sure. I'm not a big video gamer. Like, I do play, but a book based off of a video game or a video game based off of a book, I didn't know. But that's why it was a huge surprise for me. I loved it. And I can't wait to read the rest of them. And unfortunately, they're getting pushed also to 2021, but I can't wait. And that feels really good to have a big series waiting for me in 2021. Question 7 is favorite new author Debut or new to you? And so I'm going to say Evan Winter, of course. My favorite book has to go along with my favorite author. And now he is a debut author. And also a close second is S.A. Chakraborty. I'm sure I'm butchering that, but that is the City of Brass author. And they're fantastic writers. I love their writing style. It's straightforward, but still paints a beautiful picture for me. I love them. Question 8, kind of a fun one, is newest fictional crush. And that was kind of a hard one to pin down because this year I'm definitely into morally gray characters. So people that you root for but don't necessarily crush on. But I had to go with Amos Burton from Leviathan Wakes. Now, this is kind of an odd pick, but I will explain why. Because he is fiercely, fiercely loyal and honest to a fault. But I also like that he defends his opinions, but he's not so bullheaded enough to think that he knows everything. Like, he enjoys the chain of command, but he's not afraid to speak his mind. And yes, he is quick to violence, but I'm still crushing on him. So that is my newest fictional crush. Okay, 9 kind of goes along. Newest fictional character, and that has got to be Tao from The Rage of Dragons. And the reason he's my favorite character lately is because he's so relatable as a person. I mean, obviously not the circumstances, but his attitude makes me feel like anyone could be Tao. And I love that. He's so relatable. And that goes along with a quote from The Rage of Dragons, which goes, "He was not the strongest, the quickest, or the most talented, not by any measure. He knew this and knew he could not control this. However, he could control his effort, the work he put in, and there he would not be beaten." Isn't that such an inspirational quote? And I love that Winter wrote this character and gave him this attitude. He did not give Tao anything for free. Tao had to work for everything, but he wrote Tao this amazing inner fire that I just love. All right, question 10. Book that made you cry. Oh my goodness, I've actually had a couple lately. So I guess the first one, like a childhood reread, was The Hunger Games. My goodness, they're little babies and they're having to make such hard decisions. And then the scene where Katniss has basically a funeral for Rue, I was just bawling. I couldn't believe it. And another book actually that I just read for my Sassy 5 book club was Lovely War by Julie Berry. And I didn't think I could get choked up over a love story. But oh my gosh, so many awful things were happening and so many obstacles. Yes, I was tears rolling down the cheeks. I wanted the couples to get together so bad. Next question is a book that made you happy. And that, without a doubt, has got to be Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And oh my goodness, I could not wipe the grin off my face the whole time I was rereading this. Oh, it just brings me back to just nostalgia and joy in my heart. Love it. Okay, next question is most beautiful book you've read so far this year or received. Now, I had to kind of split this into 2 different categories because I feel it's worth exploring. Now, the first one is going to be the Lantern's Ember. You know, it does have and this is the hardcover, so it's got the dust jacket over it. And the dust jacket is pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty awesome. But the reason I chose this book is actually, once you take the dust jacket off, and the brown and black, I just love it. It just makes me feel like an old classic book. And the spine, and with the border around the title on the spine, I just think that elevates this book. up a whole 5 notches for me. If more authors or publishers would add just a decorative border around the title on the spine, it just amplifies a book that much more. Okay, so the second category I had for this question was new dust jackets that I've gotten. And the first ones are my Twilight dust jackets from the Bookish box. Aren't these gorgeous? And I love the simplicity of it, but with the scenery in the background, I love that. And of course the spines, they have like fun icons on the top, and then a cohesive picture. I love when series, the spines create cohesive pictures. It just looks so pretty on your bookshelf. The other dust jackets that I've recently acquired and just love are the Harry Potter dust jackets. They are just so fun and really reflect the tone of the books, and they're gorgeous. And I love the back. They each have a scene of Hogwarts school up on a hill, and they're just gorgeous. And I have the second book because I'm reading the second one, so I decided to put this one on, and it's so pretty. I love all the color schemes, and the quotes on the back are fun. They're so gorgeous. All right, we made it. Last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Well, I went ahead and wrote this down because it is quite the list. This year I'm focusing on preparing for the new releases, so I get to read along with all of you as soon as they come out. So there are 19 new releases on my calendar so far. I need to read 30 books in order to prepare for those new releases. And there are an optional 15 books that I could read on top of the 30 to prepare for the new releases. So how much is that? Like 64? Yeah, my 2020, the last half of the year, is definitely full. I've got about 64 books left to read. Thank you for sticking around and watching me freak out over my favorite books for the year and what I'm excited for the rest of the year. Let me know down in the comments what you're reading right now and what you're so excited to read for the rest of this year. What new releases have caught your eye that you're excited for? As always, if you like big and beautiful books and you cannot lie, go ahead and like and subscribe.